Today in class, we talked about which cookie has the most chips. We had Chips Ahoy and we had Craven, the Stater Brothers brand. Each person was randomly assigned to one of the types of cookies. They crumbled it and then counted up how many chocolate chips there were in their cookie. Then they wrote them on the board. And so this is where our data comes from. We have these Chips Ahoy and the Craven brand. We got this mean and standard deviation by using one var stats in our calculator. So we put the data in, we got our mean for the Chips Ahoy, our standard deviation. We used S of X because we don't have all the cookies. And then we had 11 Chips Ahoy cookies. And then the off-brand, we got a mean of 27.5 with a standard deviation of 5.22 and N of 13. So due to the factory process, we can assume that the population distribution of number of chips is approximately normal and that the samples are random. So that helps us with our conditions. Half the students, we already said that. Okay, so we're going to construct and interpret a 95% confidence interval for the true difference. Now, the best way to find your parameter is to find it in the problem. The true difference in the mean number of chocolate chips in Chips Ahoy and off-brand cookies. It says assumed conditions have been met, but I'm still going to talk about them in this video. So the same 4C process for confidence intervals. Our procedure, I have two samples, so it's a two-sample t-interval for mu1 minus mu2. I want to know the true mean difference. It says 95% confidence. And my parameter is the true difference, exactly what I highlighted here, in the mean number of chocolate chips. In Chips Ahoy and off-brand cookies. So that's our choose step. It's a two-sample t-interval for mu1 minus mu2. Now it says to assume conditions are met, but for the purposes of this, we want to say that it was a random sample. Okay, when it says assume conditions are met, you don't have to write anything down. You get to just move on. But I want to make sure we know what those are. It's a random sample and they're independent, so that it's an independent random sample. That's what's important for this test, because we need to make sure that the two populations are not related. So we can generalize. The 11 cookies is less than 10% of all Chips Ahoy, right? 11 less than 10% of all Chips Ahoy. And 13 is less than 10% of all Craven brand. So we can sample without replacement, which we did. You can't crumble the cookie more than once. And then the population are normal. So we can use a normal model even though our n is not greater than or equal to 30. So that's how we get by our CLT. We don't actually need this central limit theorem, because if the population is normal, then our sampling distribution will be normal no matter what size it is. So we have the conditions. We can use a normal model. Our general formula was our point estimate plus or minus the margin of error. But our specific formula is a little bit different. I don't know if you remember, but the standard deviation for the x bar 1 minus x bar 2 from chapter 7 is the square root of sigma 1 squared over n1 plus sigma 2 squared over n2. That was a standard deviation for the sampling distribution of the difference of means. But we don't know sigma, so we're going to substitute s for our sigmas. And so our specific formula is x bar 1 minus x bar 2 plus or minus t star with some degrees of freedom. I'll talk about what our degrees of freedom are in a minute. And that's going to be s1 squared over n1 plus s2 squared over n2. Now, degrees of freedom has many different ways to calculate it. I've always been taught n1 plus n2 minus 2. So we add our sample sizes and subtract 2. So that's going to be 11 plus 13 minus 2 is 22. And then there's a conservative estimate, which is the smaller sample size minus 1, which is 10. That's going to give you a wider interval to capture more values. So either one is okay to use. But you're probably going to see in the homework, which you don't have tonight, that they use the conservative estimate. So I'm going to plug in my numbers now. 22.82 minus 27.5 plus or minus. Now when I look at a t-table, let's see, I don't know if I have one saved. I don't. When I look at a t-table, I find 95%, and then my 22 degrees of freedom, that's 2.074. That's my t-star from the table. And then I can put my 4.98 squared over 11 plus 5.22 squared over 13. And I can plug that whole thing in the calculator, just the way it is, putting parentheses around the 2.82 and 27.5, or you can actually just subtract that ahead of time and do 4.98, which was at the beginning of the paper. It's up at the top. So then I get an interval of negative 9.005 and negative 0.35. I don't remember what that last one is. So interpret the interval in the context. Make sure when you write your inner, you're writing the smaller value, comma, the larger value. So we are 95% confident the interval from negative 9.005 to negative 0.35 captures the true difference in mean number. I am just rewriting my parameter here in this part of the equation, chocolate chips. And the best way to do that is to restate it from the question. And Chips Ahoy and off-brand. And then do we have convincing evidence there is a difference in the average number of chocolate chip cookies? Well, our interval is negative, negative, which tells us 0's not in that interval. So that tells us the first number is smaller than the second number. So yes, we do have convincing evidence. The Chips Ahoy, that was the first one, have less chips on average than the off-brand, because both endpoints of our interval are negative. Or we can say our entire interval is below 0. Okay. And there you go. So really the only thing new today is the specific formula x1 minus x2, difference of the means, plus or minus t star with degrees of freedom, which is n1 plus n2 minus 2. And then our square root equation, s1 squared over n1 plus s2 squared over n2. The process is the same. We're going to check the conditions for both of the populations we are drawing from. So both samples we're going to check the conditions for.